for a cigar.
No. Are we on, Eric, or?
Yes, we are. We are ready.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open, call to order the Auburn Parks and Recreation Board meeting for May 26, 2026, 6 p.m., Ricky Lodge in Auburn, Indiana. Next order of business is acceptance of minutes. I'm going to need a motion to untable the March minutes, if I'm not mistaken, because that was tabled last month.
Hi, Don Wesley, make a motion to table the reading, untable, excuse me, reading of the minutes from March 24th, 2026.
I wasn't here, so I don't think I should second it.
Allison Todd, I second.
All right, Allison. Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, so March minutes are untabled. Now, as far as the review of the March minutes, any questions or comments on those minutes that anybody wants to bring up? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the March minutes as presented.
Allison Todd, I move to approve the board meeting minutes from March 24th.
Hi, Don Wesley, second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next order of business is the April. Is the April 28th minutes, which I was not present here, so I will not vote on it. But for the April 28th, 2026 minutes, any discussion or questions or corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the April 28th minutes.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves to approve the minutes of the Park and Recreation Board meeting of April 28, 2026.
Allison Todd, I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ben, is this
That's the March.
for signature?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And this is the April for signature, which you'll want.
Okay, we want to make sure we don't leave.
Yeah.
All right, next order of business is communications. Oh, I'm sorry, introduction of guests, I skipped too fast.
All right, this
Sorry.
evening, in addition to Park Superintendent Eric Dittmers and board members, President Mike McCarowicz, Vice President Ben Nordman, myself, Allison Todd, and Don Winsley. We also have Kevin Webb, Johnny, Gerardo, I'm sorry, and Kyle Shearer. Just gonna butcher everyone's names, I apologize.
Okay, that completes the guesses.
Short and sweet.
All right, so now the next order of business is communications. Eric?
We have none for the board.
Okay, we now go to new business. The first one on the list is courtyard request. That was also tabled, so we'll need a, if we're gonna discuss that, we'll need a motion to untable that.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that we untable the courtyard request. I believe in deference to Ms. Gerardo, who is here to speak on that, I move that we untable that so we may discuss it tonight.
I, Don Winsley, second.
Okay, any other discussion on the untabling? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So Eric, do you want to start the conversation?
So this request comes to us for the courtyard park, and this involves placing cutouts in the courtyard park during certain times and days or day of October. And we've had a meeting with sorry.
Johnny Gerardo.
Yeah, John, okay, yep, and so Deb's had a meeting with her, discussed some of the parameters of what's involved. There's some dates that changed since its original email. She's able to speak on that, so I believe, and give you any details that you may have. But my understanding is that it is for 10/8 of 2026 and from 5 until 8 p.m. It will involve 13 life-size cutouts from 3 foot to 6 foot, and they will be secured using sandbags in a manner not to disrupt or penetrate the ground. There also will be a food truck that will be out in the road right away that will involve building and planning's approval of an itinerary vendor permit from that food truck. The park department will not have anything to do with that portion of it. Did I cover anything as discussed?
Yes, yeah.
And do you want to get up and talk to?
Sure, yeah.
If you would, thank you.
Well, just, yes, for the record, state your name and
Okay.
all that.
I'm Johnny Gerardo. I'm the president of the DeKalb County Domestic Violence Task Force. So, if you didn't know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So therefore, the task force was looking for ways to bring awareness to domestic violence in our community. We created, like we said, right currently there's 12. There will be 13 come October because unfortunately we had a domestic violence death at the end of 2025. So therefore, we will now have 6 cutouts that are painted red to represent individuals in our community who have passed away from domestic violence. And the rest of them, the 7 other ones, are going to be purple, and they contain domestic violence awareness, either facts or also we work with the prosecutor's office to get some statistics to share with the community and where we're at. You might have seen them last year. Last year was our first year doing it, and when we are done at the courtyard, basically what will happen is we will spread them out throughout DeKalb County. So they were all at public libraries, some were in front of law offices, others were just in front of businesses that were willing to share our message, and they stay out there for the whole month of October. So what we're looking to do is just have them all together as like a starting point So then that way, the families can come and see, the silhouettes of their loved ones. That's what we saw last year. And, the purpose of wanting to do it in the courtyard is just to get more attraction to it. We were very fortunate to have it at the James Cultural Plaza last year, but we also found out what day, it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we were running into a lot of conflicting issues, so, and then before I previously requested October 1st, but then realized that's when fair is this year, so that wasn't gonna work either. So, October 8th is the plan for us, and we just want to be able to be seen by the community so they can see what we're doing. The food truck that Eric had mentioned is Grounded 37, the new coffee. It's a big purple coffee trailer that's going around right now. She's a huge supporter of domestic violence. She actually lost her niece in a domestic violence situation. So, she's been working really hard with the task force to gain some traction, so.
These cutouts, are they gonna be just rectangular with
They're-
color, or?
They are life-size silhouettes.
Okay.
My husband actually cuts them out, so they look just like people, like the shape of people, so.
Jenny, are these silhouettes going to actually refer to the names of these individuals that,
They do, yes.
all 13 of them?
So the 6 that are in memory of someone, yes, I do put, with the family's approval, obviously, I put a picture of their loved one on there with a little synopsis of, what they stand for. And, one that we give credit to is David Converset. He was a male, just, representing that domestic violence can also happen to males as well. So that was a reminder. And also we have young mothers that are there that have children that are now living without their mom. And so we just continue to try to make a legacy out of their memory.
So you do not have the permit yet for the, food truck?
I do not. I did talk to, because actually Chief Corey Heffelfinger is on the task force. And so I had kind of went back and forth with him on what I would need for that.
So I think that's the only permit they would require.
Yeah, it's the only one that I know about, and it's obviously out of our privy as a park department, park board, that it's left up to the city on what they would like to do with that.
So we don't need to encompass that in any of our motion.
No. As long as it's not inside the park, and then.
Okay, so the motion is just to, on the topic itself, not any conditions. Okay. All right, any other questions?
For any silhouette in which a name is referenced, you indicate you have the authority from the family to do that.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. If there's any other questions, we'll call them. But
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So any other discussion on this topic? So again, just in summary, it's 5 to 8 p.m. on the 8th, which is Thursday, I think, or what day is it? October 8th? Thursday, okay. And there'll be silhouettes, 13 cutouts. So other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve the request by the DeKalb County Domestic Violence Coalition to erect 13 silhouettes in Courtyard Park on October 8th from 5 to 8 p.m.
I, Don Wensley, will second that motion.
Excuse me, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Good luck. Good weather, I hope.
Anything?
I like that idea of putting pictures on the silhouettes, because that really drives it home.
Okay, next item in new business is a refund request.
Yes, so we have a refund here in front of the board due to the fact that it fell inside of the 30 days. But the stipulation was out of control of the renter due to the fact that Indiana Avenue was closed down during that time of the rental. So they could not get to the enclosed or the open pavilion at Reiki. So the request is to refund them the full amount.
What is the position of the park superintendent?
I agree with the full refund. It was out of their control. They had nothing they could do. It was shut down in both directions during the repaving project.
Any other questions on that? Okay, so, and again, it's because it's within that 30-day standard is why we're dealing with this now. The motion, if a board member wants to make a motion to approve this, it's probably better not to include the name, just the invoice number and the date and the amount that it's, am I correct on that?
That is correct. And that'll give us reference to that invoice for repayment.
With that in mind, Mr. President, Ben Nordman makes a motion that the board refund the payment made in City of Auburn Parks and Recreation Department invoice 2026-00000999 in the amount of $53.50, with an invoice date of 2/22/26.
Allison Todd, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Refund passes. The last one on the new business is Smith Acres baseball field fence quotes.
So we've received 3 quotes for the replacement of Smith Acres ball diamond fencing that's out there currently. This quote does include the installation of new posts to connect the outfield that was out there on the west or east diamond right there, to reconnect that and actually put an outfield fence in there to control some of those balls that are going out and going out to wherever they go. So we do have 3 quotes. Lowest vendor or is Hoosier Fence and Outdoor Living. And that does meet all the specifications for post diameters, fencing material, gauge of wire, all of those things, installation. And that is in the amount of $51,544.68. This was a budgeted line item for 2026. This also includes the park department removing the current fencing that is there. So we will do that as a deduct. That's around about a $8,000 to $9,000 deduct for the park department to do that. There is a late summer, that means not in July type of installation. And in this installation, we can forego that. We can push that back into the fall. So that'll save us about another $950 to do that. That'll give us time to get in there, work on the ball fields, get the fencing out, and infield mix back into it and redo those fields a little bit for the public. And that total then comes to $50,594.68 as a quoted amount for Hoosier Fence and Outdoor Living.
So the lower numbers are the one that we need to make the motion for.
Because if we're gonna accept that, if you accept that with that timeline pushback, then I'm okay with it, but let me give you both numbers.
We appreciate you giving us all of the competitors too.
Yeah, because all the quotes were made with the same stipulations, the same standards, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's correct. So we're comparing apples to apples here, which is good. Okay. So any questions on this? I'll accept the motion.
Mr. President, I, Don Winsley, make a motion that we accept the bid for replacing the fencing at Smith Acres for both baseball fields in the amount of $50,594.68 submitted by Hoosier Fence and Outdoor Living.
I, Mike McCarowitch, will second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that finishes new business. Any old business?
I have none for the board.
Okay. Superintendent updates.
Yeah. So we've been working on some of the items. We have a lot of overgrowth now happening on the trail, so we've been back through the trail, cut that back a little bit. So we're working on that throughout some of the parks, just making sure we push that fence line, keep that looking good and mowed up and not slapping the mowers in the face. So we've been doing a lot of that work. We've been doing a lot of pickup cleanup. We've done some hazard tree removal. So a lot of those things are getting caught up at this point. So it does take a lot of time in doing so. The adult softball program's ongoing. We've had a lot of school groups in, out of the park, Ricky Park, and also at Eckert Park. So we've had a lot of people in Memorial too. So a lot of school groups towards the end of the year here are moving back and forth. So we're keeping those properties up and parks up, looking good. I do have an update for you on the crossing out here. That has been ordered. They are waiting for delivery at this point yet. So I did check with them today to see where that stood. Also wanted to introduce a new full-time employee. His name is Kyle. And so from the sign-in sheet, but Kyle comes, well, Kyle, do you want to get up and talk a little bit about yourself? Or you want me just to talk to you about it?
Everybody. Hi,
And this is the board members, all from our board.
board members.
Hello.
Yeah, I just came from the Fort Wayne water filtration plant. I was a mechanic and then an operator there. But it's awesome here so far. I mean, there's a ton to learn. These guys really do a lot. So getting up to speed with them and working with them, it's been awesome so far. And it's going to be great to learn. And now it's cool to see kind of behind the scenes of the process. So thanks for letting me come in and join you guys. So,
Welcome.
welcome. Meet you guys.
Welcome.
And Kyle's going to be a great addition to the park staff. He brings a lot of skills that we need in the park, and that's not only mechanical skills, but skills that'll help push the park farther forward. So we're really excited to see him here. We've been putting him with seasoned staff to get him trained up, and so he's hopping right on board, and everything we've thrown at him thus far, he's done great with. So. That's really all I have for the board's updates at this point.
So the next item on the agenda is vouchers. So if we can review those and raise any questions you would like on the vouchers. I have one, just not a question so much, but on the second item on page 1.
Yep. I can give you a little breakdown. It's, obviously, it's hard to put all the things that are in those line items and what the purchase actually was in the amount of $1,345. But we did add changing stations. We found that we didn't have any changing stations on the north quad of the ball diamond. So we went back and we added changing stations like the south quad to the north quad on the men's and women's side. And then we also added a men's side in the lodge here. We had a women's changing station on the women's restroom, but nothing on the men's side, so we added that this year too. So that's all part of that.
No, that's great, that's good. Let's see, we're putting on some treatments, on page 4 of 7, for the pond.
Yeah, so we do copper sulfate treatments for the algae growth out in the pond. As you can see, it's rather expensive, so we kind of spread those out far enough to try and keep clear water as best we can, but it is expensive to maintain that just from a chemical standpoint. So we do treat half the pond, and then we treat the other half about 5 to 7 days later to make sure that the fish can move in and out of that concentration. So we'll treat it probably about 4 or 5 times a year. So it is a pretty good expense for us, but well worth the fishing. I saw people just coming down and going fishing and enjoying that portion of it. So there is some value to keeping that clear.
That is the cost per application.
But it costs for there's two applications right there.
Was there any carp placed in there because they eat algae?
No. Okay. And they don't even, the grass carp are almost, they don't allow you to put those in waterways. At least that's something they can get down to it. It might be in your pond, you might be able to still put lasers in there, but I know there's some others around this area too.
They get.
Maybe.
Page 5 of 7, I see we're the consultant charge
Yeah.
for the master plan.
That's the master plan. So Pros Consulting took a draw off of their master plan and what they've done thus far. So they're moving forward. The plan is being developed. A lot of the feedback back and forth with the Parks Department. I know Mike is on the board that kind of sets in and reviews some of that too and hears it. So the process is moving along. So it's on schedule.
And like I say, it was privileged to be interviewed for that, be part of that process.
That should be quite interesting when it's done.
Yeah, the board will have a chance to come back and comment and review some of that too, once the planning time comes together. We have our annual rec desk subscription on page 6, and that's an annual subscription that we have that runs all of our fees for collections, for credit card usage, correspondence back and forth. So even on the Facebook page or on the internet, that's our link to the city also.
Yeah, I understand that's working quite well.
Yeah, yep. There's always glitches in it. There's always things that they can do better, but yeah, it functions really well with our system and where we're at.
Okay, any other questions on the project? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Mr. President, Ben Nordman moves that the board approve the City of Auburn Register of Vouchers dated May 26, 2026, commencing with invoice number 7039 up to and including 98766 in the cumulative amount of $23,148.52.
Right, Don Wensley, second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Motion carries. All right, next item, guest concerns or announcements. So is anyone in the guest? No, not today. Okay. Any other questions or concerns from the board members? All right, I will make the announcement here. The next board meeting will be scheduled for June 23rd at 6 p.m. right here at Ricky Lodge. Motion to adjourn.
So, go ahead.
So moved.
We're all fighting over it.
There you go. Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned.
June meeting, I will not be here. Be back east.
You said next meeting?
Yes, the June